Hello everyone and welcome to Oregon State's Graduate Certificate in College and University Teaching webinar. I'm Dan Miles of the Oregon State eCampus, and I'm joined today by Amy Thies, who manages our enrollment services team, and Jessica White, who is our program director for the College and University Teaching program here at Oregon State. Here's a quick overview of what we're going to cover today. This presentation will be approximately 20 minutes long, which will allow plenty of time to address your questions. We'll provide an overview of the curriculum, benefits of the graduate certificate program, the admissions process, tuition and financial aid, an overview of Oregon State University and eCampus, and then we'll open up to your questions. We really encourage you to take this opportunity to ask questions to ensure you're fully informed about our program. Feel free to type in your questions into the chat box throughout the presentation, and then we'll address them during this question and answer segment. If your question pertains to your personal situation, we may choose to follow up with you offline after the webinar. This webinar is being recorded. All registrants will receive a link to the webinar video, and it will be posted on the OSU eCampus YouTube channel under the playlist titled Webinars. And if you need screen captions, they're available at the web address listed at the bottom of the screen. So now we've taken care of our housekeeping business. Let's move on to the important part of our webinar today. Jessica will provide us an overview of the College and University Teaching program.
Thank you again for joining us today. And as Dan mentioned, we're hoping that this will be interactive and we'll be able to answer your questions. And so maybe a question to throw out as we get started is for each of you to think about how this certificate program can support the work that you're already doing or that you intend to do. And so as you think about that question, feel free to enter in text in the chat or comments area, and we'll be managing that throughout the session here. Again, how do you think this certificate program can support you in the work that you currently do? So again, my name is Jessica White, and I'm the director of the Graduate Certificate in College and University Teaching. We refer to it as GCUT, and that's probably what I'll be referring to it as throughout this session. A very brief history is that the GCUT program began as an idea here at OSU back in the spring of 2008 when faculty representatives from each college were brought together by graduate school staff to talk about the state of teaching here at OSU with respect specifically to graduate students. From there were fits and starts with the group, and ultimately in 2011 we submitted a proposal to create this certificate program, and in fall 2012 it was approved, and we welcomed our first site-based cohort in the fall of 2013. And then all along the way, it's important to know that the development of this program was supported by research on the prevalence of these professional development opportunities to graduate students. And so what we know when we looked into certificate programs in college and university teaching was that this is something that's already being done around the country, but not widely. So the study that we were able to cite and reference looked at 288 research and doctoral universities, and about 31.5% had a central certificate program like the one that we're talking about here at OSU. So while we know that these are prevalent, we're still in some ways ahead of the game, and so we think that positions us well in terms of providing these support services to students. A quick look, going back, one other thing is at the time our goals for the certificate program were to support those who are currently teaching in their teaching efforts. So to provide real-time training for those who were in GTA positions, who were advising, or who were currently in the classroom or some type of educational environment. And then secondary, to prepare students and our learners for the next steps in their career. That continues to be our focus, even with launching the online portion of the certificate, which is to support people in the teaching that they're currently doing and helping to position them for the next steps in their career. As you can see, our curriculum here is an 18-credit graduate certificate program, and then 18 credits is consistent with university requirements here at OSU for graduate certificate programs. It's intended to be completed in 1 to 2 years, and I would say of the students in our site-based program so far, about 30 to 50% are completing in 1 year, but the variation has to do with the busyness of your life and what's going on and other commitments and obligations that you have going on in your life. You can expect an average of 9 hours of reading, research, and writing per 3-credit course on a weekly basis. So again, this is sort of a formula that we use here at OSU, engaging the workload per credit related to a course. So for a 10-week course, and we are on the quarter system here at OSU, you can expect about 90 hours of work for the course entirely. Again, that would be a 3-credit course. You could expect to invest 90 hours of work for that 3-credit course over the 10 weeks. We have a set of learning outcomes that you see here that are projected, and rather than reading through them, I wanted to sort of just give you a little bit of background in that these provide the structure and framework for our program at large. It's not just lip service in the sense of a laundry list of what it is that we hope that you'll get out of the program. We're actually committed to this, this list of learning outcomes, and in some ways it is our contract to you when we say that after having successfully completed this program, you'll have skills and knowledge around key theories and principles of learning, college and university course design, quality instructional activities, key instructional issues and trends, and self-appraisal with respect to your teaching. And we use each of these learning outcomes to structure our courses, which you'll see in just a moment. So this provides the foundation for all that we're doing. We assess students in these as they begin our program, their level of expertise, skills, and knowledge around these learning outcomes, and then again as they leave, so that we can get a sense of if we're really meeting them, and you can as well in terms of the progress that you've made during the course of the program. A little bit more in depth around the curriculum. The way the 18 credits are divided up, you can see on this slide. We have 6 credits of core work, and that means all of the students in the GCUP program are required to complete those. Those 2 courses, as you can see, the designators are Grad 560 and Grad 561, and those 2 really work together quite well. The first is a theories course around university and college teaching, so getting into how is it that people learn. What do we know about the brain and about cognitive science that informs us and how people learn? And then that's coupled with a practical piece on course design and methods. So now that we have a good understanding of how people learn, how do we structure learning experiences that align with those theories and that research? We also have an internship component that's a 3-credit course. And this is, think of it as a hands-on instructional experience with some feedback. And so in that course, students are engaged in some type of teaching wherever they are around the world, and then are paired up with others who are in the class and receiving feedback from their instructors as well. And that's done through a series of observations and recordings of your teaching. And think about that as real-time troubleshooting about the things that are happening in your class and that might not be working so well. The capstone is the last of the required courses, so there are 4 required courses that add up to 12 credits. And that is an opportunity to practice some of these skills. So we do some micro-teaching opportunities, and then a series of professional development activities. So it's in that course where individuals develop their teaching portfolios and craft CVs, statements of teaching philosophy. We help guide them through analysis of previous teaching evaluations or other documentation that they have about teaching effectiveness. And we help them pull that together so that they're ready for whatever the next step is in their career. The last that you'll see down there is specialized coursework, and this is where students in our program have some latitude. So we encourage them to select 6 credits of coursework that best suits them and where they'd like to take their career from here. So we offer, as you can see, 3 electives that students can tap into already. All of those are online: an introduction to online course development, a current issues in higher education, and an inclusive classroom, one that focuses on difference, power, and discrimination. So those courses can count toward electives. We also expect and anticipate that students may want to transfer in courses toward the GCUT. OSU policy allows for students to transfer in a maximum of 6 credits toward an 18-credit certificate program. So most likely, and what has been the past, is that students will seek to transfer in courses toward that specialized coursework, those 6 credits there. But we encourage you also to take the courses with us if it makes sense to do so. So, of course, one of the fundamental questions is why earn a certificate in college and university teaching, why this webinar, and why the GCUP program here at OSU. In terms of further developing your teaching abilities, this goes back to what was one of our initial goals when we thought about the GCAP program here at OSU, was we want people to improve their skill set right now in the work that they're doing. We want them to get skills that inform their practice tomorrow, that they can put into the classroom, that they can test out and try real time. We also know that, and we're hearing from our grads and alum, that the certificate provides demonstrable teaching credentials and it makes their CV stand out. The students of ours who completed our program and also completed OSU have gone off to wonderful positions and have told us that having completed this and having it on their CV or resume and then being able to talk about it and demonstrate their skills in interviews has been incredibly helpful in securing positions and making them stand out as a candidate. Research also shows that completing a certificate like this one or doing some type of professional development helps ease the transition as a newly hired faculty member. That kind of makes sense as you could think about it, in that doing the work up front allows the next step in your career to be a little bit easier. Maybe the learning curve won't be as steep because you've tried out and tested some things in the classroom and not have to done that during the course of your first position, your first TA position, your first faculty position. And then the last is that, another reason why is that this certificate in particular really focuses on new and research-based methods for designing high-quality educational experiences. We really interject and make it part and parcel of the program to talk about contemporary and compelling issues with respect to higher education. And those become very integral to the curriculum. And so students leave with not only an understanding of theory and how to design a course, but current and compelling issues that are affecting higher education instruction right now and are able to speak about those in a very timely way. So a couple of benefits as we think about this certificate at OSU and what makes it special and distinctive here at OSU. Again, it's completely online and it's delivered from one of the nationally top-ranked eCampus programs. So OSU's eCampus program, which Amy and Dan can tell you more about, is a tried and true and tested model that has an incredible amount of resources built in to support students. And so it is a model that has worked well for many, many other degree programs here at OSU. The other piece is that this online version that we're launching has been developed from and aligned with a very successful on-campus program. So we are in our third year of the site-based program, and the curriculum is working. It makes sense. And so we're able to convert that curriculum over into an online context and make some changes so that it's more appropriate for that setting. But it is framed and couched within a program that's working really well, where our students are meeting those learning outcomes and where we've received lots and lots of positive feedback. Additionally, the courses are designed to meet you where you're at, so we understand and anticipate attracting a really diverse group of individuals in this program. And so our instructors and the coursework is designed in such a way so that learners can jump in where they're at and they can craft assignments that are applicable and meaningful to them in the context where they work. And finally, we have an exceptional team of instructors from a diverse setting. This is one of the advantages to an online program, is that we're able to select people from around the country or around the world to support our program. And so you can see on this slide a list of some of the faculty that are affiliated with our program. And besides being wonderful colleagues, incredibly knowledgeable, and having a diverse range of interests, as you can see, we have people who are interested in community college settings and have done research in that setting, people who whose research is around research methods and analysis and assessment, and individuals who've done a lot of work around diversity, inclusion, and equity. It sort of rounds out in terms of research interests, but the other thing that's, I think, really interesting to look at, when you can see their institutional affiliation over to the right, you see that these are individuals who represent a variety of institutions. We have individuals from community colleges, small private institutions, larger public institutions, and many of whom have worked at a variety of institutions. So they're familiar with those types of settings that you may be coming from and are able to meet with you and connect with you with respect to that. Looking at the admissions requirements for the GCAP program, you can see that university requirements for any graduate certificate or degree require a baccalaureate degree in any field from an accredited college or university, a minimum of 3.0 GPA, that individuals are prepared to complete graduate level coursework, and that they have a basic computer literacy. And this last piece is particularly important as this is delivered online. And so our instructors will be using a learning management system called Canvas, in which all of the courses have been built and will be instructed. Specific admissions requirements for this program should also be considered. We don't require GREs or letters of reference for admission to the online GCUP program, but there is a two-step application process that I think is really important for you to understand. First, if you're not currently a graduate student at OSU, which many of you are not, you need to apply to the graduate school. That is, to be formally admitted as a graduate student to OSU. There's an online admissions application and a $75 non-refundable application fee that accompanies that. In addition to that, though, you need to apply to this specific program, the GCUT online program. And so we have a supplemental application that requires you to fill out some information about yourself and then to upload a few supporting documents as well as CV and a cover letter that addresses some specific points. It is through both of those documents, so the graduate school application and then the supplemental application to the GCUP program, that we make our decisions for admission based on those.
Jessica, thank you so much for sharing all of that wonderful information with us. This is Amy Thies, and I just want to talk to you guys really quickly about your investment for this program. As Jessica mentioned, during the application process, there is a fee of $75, and then the tuition is $521 per credit. Because we're online, we actually charge the same tuition for all of our eCampus students, regardless of where in the world they reside. So there is one bonus of taking these classes online, especially if you're not here in Oregon. You won't be charged the out-of-state fees. Since the typical courses are about 3 credits, you're looking at $1,563 per course, and that wouldn't include textbooks or supplemental materials that you may be required to purchase, or if you needed to upgrade your computer system, anything like that would be also fees to you. The other fees that are mentioned here, an additional cost, really is the application fee, and then there is a one-time matriculation fee of $350. So that's charged during your first term. That just shows up on your tuition bill. We do accept financial aid, as well as there could be scholarships available. So I wanted to share with you guys information about how to connect with the financial aid office. Not all graduate certificates actually do accept financial aid, which is a really great bonus for this certificate as well, because you can utilize the same process that you may have been familiar with in the past to help you through the financial piece of earning your degree. At the end of the webinar, we're actually going to have a couple more resources so that you can see direct links to FAFSA and the studentaid.ed.gov website, as well as links to our Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. You can connect with them to ask about any specific scholarship information or to ask questions about award letters. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Dan to share with you a little bit more about Oregon State.
Great. Thanks, Amy. Also, those resources are listed in the handout section, so you can download a PDF, and it contains links to those resources, plus some additional resources that we're providing. Here's a little information about Oregon State University. We're regionally accredited by the Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities. Our main campus is located in Corvallis, Oregon. We're about 80 miles south of Portland along the I-5 corridor. We have more than 30,000 students, and OSU is an internationally recognized public research university and is one of only 2 land, sea, space, and sun grant universities in the nation. eCampus has over 15,000 students from all 50 states and in over 40 countries. We provide access to Oregon State's high-quality programs to Oregonians and people throughout the world who otherwise would not be able to further their education. We provide the infrastructure and the technology to deliver courses online. Our instructional designers and developers work with the faculty to ensure that an on-campus course is turned into a rich learning experience online. Our students earn the same Oregon State degree. They experience the same curriculum as on-campus students. So now that we've outlined our program, the cost, financial aid, and the prestige of earning a degree from Oregon State, we're going to open it up to questions. You have the opportunity to ensure that you are fully informed about our program. So while we're waiting for questions to come in, Jessica, are there, what questions are you most commonly hearing from prospective students?
Yeah, thank you. So to go back, actually, at one point that Amy brought up when she was talking about cost, and certainly that within that tuition fee structure, that texts and such are not included. And I wanted to emphasize that one of our commitments in the GCUP program has been to really keep costs of text to a minimum to the degree that we can. And so we've been utilizing many e-texts and selecting texts for that very reason, that they're available in electronic format free through OSU's Valley Library. So, and then when we're not, we're using and reading research articles that are also available through the library's holdings. So costs have been kept, I think, fairly reasonable around text in our class, and that's just a commitment that we as an instructional staff have made to our students and to one another. Commonly asked questions, I think, often come up around the internship and what can satisfy the internship and how exactly that looks. And so again, we have, as you can remember, one of the required courses was that 3-credit Grad 610 internship course. And so the expectations around that course are that students are actually teaching while they're enrolled in that course. It might be teaching that they're already paid to do. Maybe it's for an assistantship and they're a graduate student at another institution, or it may be that they're already doing some form of teaching at another institution. Maybe they do outreach in the community, or again, some type of instructional activity. As long as it satisfies a series of criteria that we have in terms of the ability to evaluate learners' work and facilitate sessions, and there's a few other criteria, we encourage you and allow you to utilize that experience as the experiential component for that course. That course also involves recording then your teaching in those experiences, reviewing one another's recordings, providing peer feedback, and then doing some additional reflective writing about it. But that sort of is one of the things that people often ask. Given the online format and that people are likely going to be all around the world, we're unable to place you into a teaching experience. So it will really be up to the student to identify a good fit for them in terms of a teaching and learning experience, and then for the learner to sort of let us know that that's what they intend to do and how it meets the criteria that we've outlined.
I just wanted to note that I did put some resources on the slide so everybody can see that. And then I'm curious, we do have a question come in specifically about if you're not employed in the teaching field, could you maybe expand a little bit on some alternative options for people?
Yeah, and so we currently in our site-based, we have students who do not teach. They are not on a teaching assistantship, or it's not part of their job. And so for site-based, we've been able to set up some options for them, volunteer opportunities. I think for the online version, it'll be similar. I think for those who do not have it as part of their job or their everyday experience, it'll be maybe speaking out and being creative about what that looks like. So it may be volunteering to TA in a course at an institution or support them. It may be working in some outreach. We have lots of environmental organizations. Our 4-H organizations here in OSU are doing lots of outreach around agriculture or growing raspberries or things like that. It might be teaching in conjunction with your local library who's doing a seminar on computer literacy for retirees or something like that. But it kind of asks us to think maybe more broadly than teaching happening in the university. So there's teaching happening with adults in all sorts of contexts in your community. And so we'll encourage you, if it's not within a university or college or within your current context, to help identify and consider other places where that might occur, and then again, how that fits and matches and aligns with the criteria that we have for our internship.
Great.
One other clarification and a question that often gets asked of me has to do with certification versus certificate. And so I think that it's really important to sort of clarify that language in that This certificate program is just that. It's a certificate, and that is the internal language used at OSU to designate this 18-credit graduate experience. It's not a certification to teach at K-12 level, and there is no such certification that exists to teach in higher education. So we're not certifying you to do anything or licensing you to do anything. We think about the certificate as a credential. So we're helping to sort of build and provide you with a credential so that you are more effective and more successful to teach adults in a variety of adult learning contexts, not the least of which is college and university environment.
Anything else? Great. Thanks everybody for participating today. Again, we'll send you a link to the webinar video so you can reference this information whenever you need. Is there another one coming in, Amy?
Actually, one did just come in. Thanks,
Okay.
Dan. The question is, does this program qualify for VA education benefits? And actually, all of the Oregon State University eCampus programs do qualify for VA benefits. So if you are a veteran or able to use VA education benefits, you would actually want to connect with your local veterans office. And we do have a veterans group here on campus. I'll be sure to send that information directly to the person who asked. If anybody else is curious about getting that email, go ahead and just type something in that little chat box, and I'll email all of you after the webinar.
Great. Again, thanks everyone for joining us on our webinar today. We hope this information has been helpful to you as you consider Oregon State's graduate program and graduate certificate program in college and university teaching. Have a great day.